Hello, fellow babies, and welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. I am hopeful that you are a patron on Patreon, and if so, thank you. If you are not, please try to remember to link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. Apologize for the construction, it's super loud. And if you can't figure that out, then just follow me on Twitter at Michael Pachter, and I appreciate it. All right, our first question this week from Patreon from Video Game Newsroom Time Machine. When a publisher or larger developer buys a smaller studio, what are the typical contract provisions? Is there an automatic transfer of IP rights? Do key team members sign non-competes or promise to stay on for a minimum amount of time? Are there other common provisions we don't see from the outside? So when a developer gets purchased, it's like, who are the shareholders? You know, so when Microsoft bought Obsidian, who were the shareholders of Obsidian? So, okay, they got Fergus Urquhart. Did they get everybody else at Obsidian? Well, they all went. So my guess is that Fergus signed a deal with each employee, and each employee had stock in the case of a changeover provision. And so let's just say he had 100 developers. He wouldn't give them 100% of the company. Maybe he gave them 20% of the company, and each developer got 0.2%. So let's just say that, you know, he sold the company for $100 million, because that's easy. $20 million got spread around, and each developer got $200,000. What did they have to do to get that $200,000? They had to sign a non-compete, and they had to sign an agreement that they would stay as an employee. Now, there's no such thing as forced labor in the U.S. since 1863, since we outlawed slavery. But they sign a non-compete that says, here's $200,000, and if you leave here and go to work for a competitor, you forfeit the $200,000. You have to pay it back. Now, if you leave here because you just get sick or tired or you want to quit or retire, different story. You can do that. But if you go to work for a competitor, you give us back the $200,000. So the answer is you pay people to stay. I mean, that's common. As far as IP rights, why buy a developer if you don't get the IP? So, you know, I'll go back to, say, Sony, who bought Insomniac. You know, did they get all the Sunset Overdrive? I think Sony owns Ratchet and Clank, and Insomniac was a studio for hire. Yeah. But that's why I said Sunset Overdrive and Fuse. Resistance. I mean, that they know for sure. Why would Sony buy them if they didn't get all that IP? So of course they got that, and again, negotiated. You know, so if you buy, let's say Gearbox, who hasn't been sold, do they own Borderlands, or does Take-Two own Borderlands? I think Take-Two owns it. So that doesn't transfer over. So it really depends on, you know, who owned the IP in the first place. But you wouldn't buy a studio like Ninja Theory. Why would Microsoft buy them if they didn't get the rights to Hellblade? It just doesn't make sense. So of course they got the IP. So again, automatic, it depends on who owns it, and it's negotiated. Nothing's automatic. You know, I think that the Rockstar guys have a contract provision that says in a change of control at Take-Two, the Rockstar founders, the Housers, get 49% of any IP they developed, you know, that's brand new IP, so not the existing games. So if they came out with a game, you know, brand new IP, they haven't yet since this contract, but if they did, they'd own 49%, which is smart. I mean, they're protecting themselves. So nothing's automatic, everything's negotiated, but the bottom line is, if you value the creative talent and you want them to stay, you pay them. Our next question from YouTube from Dady, who must be Australian. What do you reckon Amazon can do differently from Microsoft or Google to allow it to win the game streaming war? They are going to win. So what they will do differently is be a storefront. And if they are a storefront, meaning just come to Amazon, and if you're a Prime member, all streaming is free. Buy a console, stream anything you want, but you got to pay for the game. And so if you buy FIFA, $60, stream it as long as you're an Amazon Prime member. We don't care. That's a great deal, and you'll do it, and Amazon will do it, and EA will do it. And the winner is going to end up with a multiplayer network of players. So once you get critical mass and you sell enough games, obviously they're going to have to offer multiplayer. You're not playing Xbox Live if you're on Amazon. You're not playing PlayStation Network if you're on Amazon. Will Microsoft and Sony allow cross-platform play to Amazon? I don't know. They're doing it with Call of Duty for the first time ever. Maybe they will. to try to keep people from defecting to Amazon. Amazon probably will charge for that. Are they going to charge $5 a month? Probably not. 3? Maybe. And are they going to pay Activision and EA a piece of that? Yeah, they sure are. That's how they're going to get the games. So Amazon, the good news for the publishers is they have deeper pockets than anybody, probably even deeper than Microsoft, and they can afford to go ahead and subsidize, and they will. They're bigger in cloud than anybody, even bigger than Microsoft, and I think they're going to win because of that. You would say the same about Google, but they're not as big in cloud, and they definitely don't understand games, and they definitely don't understand a retail model. They're trying subscription. That is doomed. Storefront is the winner, and if the other potential is pay as you go, pay by the minute. But Amazon's going to win. I think I've said this repeatedly, so I'm going to say it again. Our next question from SIFTD, from Wool or Wole. Why aren't consoles built in a modular way like a PC, so you can snap on a new GPU, add RAM, etc.? Do you think there will ever be a time where consumers can buy parts to gain additional features like HDR, ray tracing, 8K? Wouldn't this eliminate the need for mid-cycle refreshes like PS4 Pro and Xbox One X? The answer is that consoles will be modular as soon as the iPhone is modular. Okay, what Apple's got going for it is that we are really stupid chumps. So here's this iPhone 10. Oh my God, I suck because I don't have an iPhone 11, and I want one. And so what they do is they make this piece of shit obsolete. And it's kind of shocking to me that they even allowed us to replace the battery, because even that was like. And if you ever look at earpods, can't replace the battery, and they die in a year. So this thing, the battery dies. Of course, you can't replace that for $99. I guess $29 occasionally, but they want you to buy a new phone every 2 years. And Microsoft and Sony want you to buy a new console because then you're going to get all new software. And their whole goal is to keep you in this vicious cycle of just paying them money. So no, they're not making it modular. And yes, I agree with you, they should, and it would be really fun. And then there would be a $2,000 PS5. Somebody would say, no, I need 16K because 8K ain't enough, and I need a frickin' NVIDIA GeForce, what are they up to, 1170 or something for each eye, I need all that. So yeah, you would go ape shit with the specs you would put in that bad boy.
Wouldn't they make more money that way though?
No, because NVIDIA would make more money. No. The point is that they're trying to sell you a stupid AMD combo chipset that costs them $25 and sell it to you for $500. They would not. The component manufacturers would make more money. I mean, Seagate makes more money when you buy it, solid state drive, not freaking, PlayStation or Microsoft. So it's too consumer friendly. It's what
right,
really,
yeah.
I mean, I got to say, personally, I would love it.
Yeah, if you could snap on a new GPU.
I would totally customize that. It'd be so fun.
Would.
Yeah, it'd be so fun.
I think it'd be great.
Yeah. Well, again, I don't know why they don't let you soup them up.
Like, at least put more RAM in it.
More, that's what I meant, just to soup it up.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting that and if nothing else, right, just more RAM or just even more solid state drive so you can save more levels.
You can kind of do that now.
Yeah, you can, but yeah, okay. So our last question this week, from YouTube, from Jacob Dragon. I'd buy more Switch versions of games I already own if I knew that the save data would work across other devices. How difficult would it be for Nintendo and third-party developers to implement this feature? And would it be worth the effort? Wow, the problem is that the system architecture is different, so the game is actually different.
Isn't that happening with Fortnite and Call of Duty now, though?
I don't know, because I don't know where...
I'm playing Call of Duty, and when I'm in the lobby, I'm seeing 5 dudes from Xbox, 3 PC players.
Yeah, so the answer is, I think it's not a game save. You're playing multiplayer, you're not playing game save.
He
said save.
It's there, telling you what weapons you have and what maps are
right,
unlocked.
See, I think that's all in the cloud.
Yeah,
I think that's all uploaded to the cloud, and I think that Microsoft has to do it anyway, and Sony has to do it anyway. So I think all they're doing is sharing that save data, and Nintendo could do it if they had good multiplayer, but they don't yet, and I'm not sure they're that sophisticated. Well, never's a long time, but they're just not there yet. They'd have to be as sophisticated on multiplayer as the other guys. Nintendo's a tough one. I don't think they can do it unless they spend a lot of money. They're just not a big cloud company, and Microsoft is really good at it. And Sony, if you remember back in the PlayStation Home days, Sony sucked at multiplayer. Now they don't anymore, but I'm talking 2007, 8, 9. They were terrible at it, and then they got really good in this past decade, and now they're just as good, if not better, than Microsoft. So it's a very sophisticated question, and I am technologically incompetent to answer it, but I think that Nintendo is too far behind to get good at it, so doubt it. You're not playing a disc or a cartridge on a Fortnite, you're playing an online game.
Well, you have the data on your hard drive of your Switch still.
Right, but it's a constant connection and upload and remembers all your skins and stuff.
Like Epic's
So,
taking care of it.
well, when you buy the skin from the Epic store, Epic's got a record of that. Whether they store it, they have to track it to your account, so it's there.
Yeah.
And so it'll never disappear because they know you bought it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So basically what you're saying is they just let Epic take care of it.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works because Fortnite doesn't work this way, but when you find a weapon, when you kill somebody in Call of Duty and take their ammo, what keeps track that you have 87 bullets instead of
From
82.
somebody who was playing it on PC.
I don't know how that works. See, that's the
Crazy.
part that that's the part that I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I actually don't know. To me, again, I'm technologically incompetent to answer these questions. I don't know the answer. Again, apologies for the construction. It's going to be going on for the next year. Thank you for joining us on Pachter Factor. No Scotch lessons this week. But I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving and looking forward to Christmas. Buy yourself a good bottle of Scotch. And if you're a Patreon patron, thank you for that. If you are not, please link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. And if you can't do that, or even if you can do that, follow me on Twitter at Michael Pachter. See you next week.